Greetings, my name is Ed Turlington Jr. I'm proprietor of Haas Turlington's Bee and Goat Farm in Delaware County, Oklahoma, 4 miles from where the borders of Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Missouri meet. I'm a military retiree, certified Oklahoma private investigator, and former law enforcement officer. 4 years ago and 2 weeks after taking possession of what is now my farm, I shot in self-defense a violent felon and meth addict, Daryl Philpott. Delaware County Sheriff Harlan Moore had his undersheriff take over the investigation from the detectives at the scene. The undersheriff then performed a flawed, cursory investigation and I was arrested. Soon after my arrest, I learned that Philpott is well known in the area as a police informant. The next step for the sheriff after having me arrested was to influence public opinion. In the military, this is called an information operation. Two important information operation elements used by the sheriff to influence or corrupt the public's decision making are deception and information security. Deception is saying things about the arrested person that are not true to make them look bad, which he did, and saying things that are not true about the protected individual to make him look good. Shooting in Delaware County is it's a pretty big deal, and for several days after the arrest, all the news outlets were running their articles and everything, and most of them said about the same thing. I'll have two of them right here. One is from news9.com, and it came out on April 15th, 2014, the day after. And the other one is Tulsa World, that came out on April 16th, 2014, 2 days after the shooting. Okay, and I wanted to go over a couple things here to show you how the sheriff outright lied in some instances. In other ones, he just misrepresented the truth to affect public opinion. And of course, the public are potential jurors, aren't they? And remember, you know, he can call a newspaper, he can get an article like that by calling the people he had arrested, you know, can't. They don't have that kind of power, especially to deny something that's a total lie, a fabrication. Okay, and I'm not going in order here. I'm just going to pull them out in order of their impact. Okay, on the Tulsa paper, on the Tulsa article, on the 4th paragraph down, it states that Stephen Barrett, 31, and Daryl Philpott, 53, were cutting wood on nearby property and were instructed by resident Jack Thomas, 47, to set a small controlled fire to burn trash on the property, Moore said. Thomas told investigators he thought the property was in foreclosure, Moore said. Okay, Moore's the sheriff. So, but here the thing is, my neighbor, Philpott's cousin, tells the sheriff that he sent these guys up here to foreclose property to cut wood. Now, even if it's not my land, it's foreclosed. It's somebody's land, and that's illegal. You can't go on someone's land to cut wood. Here he is telling these guys to go to foreclosed property to cut wood and then set a fire on it. Both of those things are illegal. Why aren't they arrested? Why was that not questioned? Because in Delaware County, if you're an informant, you can do what you want. Okay, that's just one thing. Okay, so the sheriff is saying that Jack Thomas or Jack Bradley sent Philpott, the guy I shot, to what he thought was foreclosed land up here. Okay, my farm that I bought is the only foreclosed land. It's been in foreclosure for 8 years. It's the only thing in this entire holler that's been in foreclosure in years at that time. When Philpott is asked while he's being interviewed by the undersheriff who took over the investigation from the detectives, so he could have a sham investigation, Philpott is asked on whose land he burned. Philpott first answers Mike Rainey, then changes the answer to no, not really Michael Rainey's, but it's really Shorty somebody's that's kin to Michael. Okay, and that's at 11:03. And to the and on the interview, and you go and look at my YouTube channel, I put the interview up, you can listen to it. Okay, it's clear he has no idea whose land he's on, number one, so he's trespassing. Number two, he's lying to the undersheriff about his, because the undersheriff already knows that Jack Thomas, his cousin, told him it was foreclosed land. So he's just here making up names, and you know, the undersheriff's playing along with it, you know, just going along with it, knowing he's been lied to. At 11:28, the undersheriff asked him again, so Jack sent you to this land. He knows it's Mike Randy's land, or whose land it is, and he says it's Randy's land. And Philpott says, yes. Jack knows. He says it was. So he's being very specific in his lies that he's telling the sheriff. Okay. You go down 2 paragraphs, and it says, now this is just one of the absurdities in the whole article, where people look at it and they can tell, even without knowing what really went on, well, this is BS. There's something crazy here going on. Turlington later pointed a handgun at Philpott and shot him in the back of his right leg, the sheriff alleged. Okay? And then you look up here and it says, I was arrested for felony assault with a firearm and shooting with an intent to kill. And in the other article, the News on 9 clarifies that they're saying that it was one charge was on Barrett, but they said that they were charged with felony shooting with intent to kill on Philpott. Remember, I shot this guy one time in the leg. No one says it's not in dispute, from arm length away, and I didn't shoot it. I was just driving down the road trying to get him. One bullet was fired, and yet into his leg from right here, and they're going to get me for intent to kill, with intent to kill. So you can see right there that this sheriff has no integrity, he has no pride. I mean, he's going to say whatever craziness it takes to get whatever charge he can. Going back to the news9.com article, the 5th paragraph up, it says, Philpott said the man cursed at them and made threats. Okay, talking about me. All right, I didn't curse and didn't make threats. He did, though, according to his own statement on page 6 of the probable cause affidavit. This is the undersheriff's writing here. I asked Philpott when he got shot. He told me he was walking back to Barrett's truck. He said, I told him he was a punk MFer, except he doesn't say MFer here. If you really want to do something, put your gun down, Philpott said. He threw a beer bottle at me. I told him that just proves you're a punk MFer. Okay, so there's that. Then it says that Philpott, this is in quotes, Philpott told deputies he, quote, had an exchange of unfriendly conversation, end quote, with Turlington. He's never spoke a sentence with that many multi-syllable words in his life, probably. If you listen to that disc, I'm just saying, it's not a big deal. It's just that he can't talk. He's a derelict. He can't form those kinds of sentences. So it just goes to show you that this is all nonsense. Philpott said he turned away, Turlington shot in the back of his right leg. Like I said, it says investigators determined the bullet entered Philpott's leg from the backside. Sheriff Moore said that's a lie. There's one investigator that said that. There's the undersheriff, and I'll later on. I'll tell you how the other detectives and the other deputies have been, and they've been very honest. And one detective went out there the next day after the investigation and took pictures of stuff that the undersheriff purposely did not take pictures of that I told him about. My point is, the detectives are all great guys, and all the deputies are. The only crooked people are the sheriff and the undersheriff. Okay, but so that's a lie. It's not investigators. It's the investigator. It says that, listen to this. They quote me as saying, I didn't want to do it, but I couldn't get them to stop. I didn't want to do it, meaning I guess I didn't want to shoot them, but I couldn't get them to stop not attacking me. But committing arson on the property in the context of the sentence. And the Tulsa paper quotes Moore is the one saying that. Okay, now that's a confession. If I said I didn't want to do it, but they, I couldn't get them to stop, burning trash or doing something that you can't legally shoot someone for, that's a confession. So that's a major lie. And it says I told the authorities that. Well, there's no recording of me saying that anywhere on the interview with Detective Miller, and no law enforcement officer made a statement saying that I said that. So that's a lie that this despicable little turd Sheriff Moore came up with about me. That is not true at all. And he tells the newspapers, of course, there's nothing I can do about it as far as the newspaper goes, except make a video and share it to my Facebook friends. It says that deputy took Turlington into custody, like some kind of manhunt, and they got me on a sting operation. I called 911 and said I'm coming in to make a statement. And I called, got an ambulance for the guy I shot, and so no, they didn't really, it wasn't as they're trying to portray, like I was running around like Yosemite Sam, shooting up the town and everything. It says they impounded my truck, which they did, which I got back in 3 days because they took it illegally. Okay, if you bust someone from drugs, the government can steal whatever they want because they say, because they have to get permission from a judge, but they can take the guy's possessions because it's all figured to be that he got it through illicit gains, through drug money, all right? But in my case, I would have had to use my truck in the commission of a crime. At least they would have had to allege that when they charged me. And my truck wasn't even alleged to be used in a crime. So after I, got out of jail, I just, had to go talk to the judge and got my vehicle back. They're just shows that you in Delaware County, they're used to, stealing people's property whenever they can. And, most people don't know the difference. A lot of times they don't get out of jail. They can't get it back. They can't throw their bail or whatever. But anyway, that's just a small example. A real big example of the information operation will be the one I do on the investigation coming up. Thank you for watching this. I appreciate it. Please share this with everyone in Ottawa and Delaware counties. Appreciate it if you pray for my family, please. And call the DA below and tell him what you think about him protecting this this drug dealer, this multiple felon, and prosecuting me. And while you're at it, you might want to explain to the prosecutor in charge of my case what those wounds show, because I tend to believe him. He really thinks they show what they don't show. So thank you very much, and I'll have another video in a couple of days. It'll be on the investigation.